Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to do a little short video on adjusting the clutch on the early Yamaha Enduros, the 125, 175. It's pretty straightforward, but some people out there, the owner's manuals aren't around anymore, and some people just may not know. So I'm going to cover that and a couple of gee whiz things to go along with it. So let me get you over to the bench here and we'll take a look at what I got. Okay, I've kind of got this set up on the bench here. I've got a clutch lever and perch here and a cable, and I'm just showing the engines or the mag side here with the adjustment. And this is a 72, 73, 175 Yamaha CT3, 2 or 3. And you might also have this cover, which would be the early one, the 69 through 71. And it's essentially the same. It looks different. Okay, the first thing you want to do is just take all the slack out of your cable. Just run that down to where everything is loose. Okay, the next thing you want to do is loosen your nut right here in the middle. And you just want to give yourself some slack on that nut and screw that in until it stops. Very little pressure, just stops. Then they want you to back it out a quarter of a turn. Right about there. And then we're going to tighten it back up. Just kind of hold your screwdriver while you're tightening it. And exactly the same procedure with this one. Only you've got to use a slotted screwdriver instead of a Phillips, and it does all the same stuff. It's just the way it looks is all. They redesigned the case. Okay, the next thing you want to do is come up here and just pull the slack out of your lever. See this slack right here? They want you to have between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch. So I've got a 3/32 drill bit here. I'm just going to tighten that up. You can see it pulling up there. There's a lot of slack in that lever. Okay, there we go. And then just tighten up your lock nut. Now that should be good. You should be done. And you just want to see how it feels. And if you pull up some extra slack, and I feel like I did, yep, I can go back in and just take up a little bit more of that. And you don't want this to be too tight, because if it's too tight, your clutch won't release and it will end up slipping on you. Okay, this is the owner's manual from the Yamaha 175 CT2. So this would cover, it's going to be the same for the 125, AT1 or AT2, and the CT3, and AT3. Okay, and it just tells you that the same thing I just showed you. You know, you first loosen the lock nut on your handlebar, and then you come in and you adjust the nut on the case till it lightly seats, and then you back the screw out a quarter of a turn and then tighten the lock nut. And you've got to have the free play or you'll have slippage. So then you go back up to the handlebar like I showed you, and you try to make sure that you're between the 1/16 of an inch and an 1/8 of an inch, or 2 to 3 millimeters here at the handlebar. And with the this is the AT1C. I believe it should all be the same for 69 to 71, and they all do the same thing. It's exactly like that. Your free play at the handlebar is 2 to 3 millimeters, or 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, and you tighten the nut down. Just tighten it down till it touches, then back it up a 1/4 of a turn, and then do your handlebar adjustment. So those are the early Yamahas. And the Suzuki, I actually have a, this is a TC 125 manual, and this is the case. And it's very much the same. This would cover also the TS, but it's got a little different color, cover on it. And here it's telling me to first loosen the adjuster up at the handlebar, and then you adjust the, you turn the screw right here with the slot on it in until it just touches, lightly stops it says. Then you back it out a 1/4 to a 1/2 a turn. So that's a little bit different on the Suzuki. Then you go back to the handlebars and you look for your adjustment here, which should be 0.12 to 0.16, and that's between 3 and 4 millimeters. So very much the same on both of these. Okay, this one is the Kawasaki F6, F7, the 125, 175. This one is actually the for the 71 model that I've got. I'm not sure about the others. On the clutch adjustment on this one, you're going to loosen the adjuster at the handlebar, and then you're going to remove this cover. Now your cable is still attached at this point, and you're going to turn it over, and you're going to adjust your mid adjuster right here. It's in the cable, and it is going to adjust until this lever is approximately 90 degrees, like such. Then you're going to reinstall this cover, and at that point you're going to here it is. You're going to loosen the nut and adjust the screw on the inside until it stops, or it starts to turn hard, they say. At that point, you tighten your lock nut. And then finally, at the clutch lever, you're going to adjust, you lock that back up. Then at the clutch lever, you're going to look for 0.5 to 0.7 of an inch, or 13 to 18 millimeters at the joint. Now, that's not what they're showing here. It actually shows you at the knob on your lever, it shows this amount of play. You know, it says at the joint of it. So I would take that as over here where the where we adjusted the others at. But this is what they're telling you, and this is a little bit more. I would just go ahead and go by that and measure it out here at the knob, because that's what we've got. This adjustment, I think, would be pretty wide if you tried to make the point, you know, that's a 1/2 inch to almost 3/4 of an inch here. So I think you want to go by this. This is what I've done in the past. I've never had any issues with it. So on this one, it is a little bit different. You're going to remove this cover, and you're going to adjust your mid adjuster on your cable until this lever is at approximately 90 degrees. Then you're going to reinstall this cover. Then you're going to loosen your lock nut and tighten your center screw until it just starts to turn hard. Then you're going to tighten this set screw, or the set nut, lock nut, whatever you want to call it, and then go back to the handlebars, and at the end, you're going to look for between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch, and adjust here on your lever until you get that measurement. So that covers all three of the main brands here in one video. It's not a big deal. It's pretty easy, but the information is not always out there, and I'm hoping that this will help some people that don't have the books handy for them. Now back to the Yamaha. I had a gentleman the other day ask me that if when the clutch lever is pulled in, and I've got it pulled in here and pulled up and locked with a vice grip, what should the distance be between the clutch plate here and the first plate in the clutch? And I know that this one is a working engine, and I have never seen this information in any manual. It may be there, but I haven't seen it. And what I can tell you is that I get about 30 thousandths. I've got a feeler gauge at the bottom, because if you just put it in the top, you'll get kind of a cocking of this pressure plate. So I've actually got a 24 thousandths down here and a 30 up here, but they're really pretty loose. So I would say between 30 and 35 should be your measurement. Now, take in mind again that the lever is pulled in, so you can see this is turning the plate on the inside of the clutch. This is not turning out here. So this is released. So now I go back up here and I go ahead and release this. So you should be going down the road or up the hill or whatever you're going to do. And now this piece no longer turns. It's going to be the whole thing. So the clutch is locked up at that point right there. Now this is just gee whiz information. I didn't know what it was supposed to be. Like I said, I've never seen it anywhere. So I just decided to check one, and that's what I've got. So if somebody's looking to see what that measurement is supposed to be, I think you can be pretty well assured that that's okay, because this engine has run and it was working properly when I tore it apart. Okay guys, there you have it. Just a quick video. I was just going to show it on the Yamaha, but I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, you know, the Suzukis and Kawasaki's are very similar in that same time frame. So we've got the Kawasaki. This actually, this manual is for 71, and that's what I've got here for the case that I showed you on. And this Suzuki manual is for the TC, should be the same for a TS. And this particular one is a 74, but it should be for all of them. And again, the Yamaha, I showed you two different ones, the 69 to 71 right here, and the 72 to 73 in this one. And they are essentially the same. So it's going to be very similar for almost any motorcycle. You're just going to loosen everything up, go back, adjust your main adjuster. In this case, we had one, well, you tighten them all up and you back one off a quarter, you back the other one off a quarter to a half, and the other one you don't back off at all. You know, so there are some little idiosyncrasies there, but they're basically all the same. And this, you know, is really going to be pretty close also on the 250s, the open bikes, on probably all these also, but I won't swear to it. We're just doing 125, 175 stuff today. So, hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.